Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Kosher. I'm Chef Tolan.
And I'm Chef Phelan, and we're both the executive chefs of Madison and Park Hospitality Group, your premier destination for kosher catering. What are we making today, brother?
Well, I think we're making a beef stroganoff today, brother.
Beef stroganoff, my favorite. Beef stroganoff is an amazing quintessential Russian dish that is a lot of fun to make. It is very delicious. The whole world knows about it, and we're going to get into it. So, first thing you need to know about beef stroganoff is that originally it didn't have mushrooms. Originally it was just the meat, the sauce thickened with mustard and flour and sour cream. And throughout time, there was a family, a prominent Russian family called the Stroganoff family.
They moved to France?
They moved to France. They had a lot of money.
Oh wow, I guessed that.
Yeah.
But that's usually what happens.
Actually, I don't think they moved to France. They had a French chef. And the French chef
were involved somehow.
Yes, exactly. And then they put their own stamp on it. Beef stroganoff became the most popular Russian dish in hotels throughout the world, especially in Asia, in restaurants and hotels. In its current form, you can play around with it, but we like to stick to tradition.
Tradition.
The beef, mushrooms, mustard, stock, sour cream, tofu sour cream. We're using tofu sour cream because we keep it kosher.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into it. Very simple procedure, it doesn't take a lot, and it's delicious. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to start with our meat. We're going to brown our meat. If you don't brown your meat, you miss out on a lot of flavor. Browning is always good because what it does is it creates something called the Maillard reaction, which is the caramelization of the sugars in the meat.
Yeah, I didn't know you knew that word.
Yeah, I know a lot of things you don't know.
Where did that come from? Okay, scientist.
It's cool. So we're just going to season our meat a little bit. Some people would singe this with flour first to give it like an extra crust, but you don't need to do any of that.
If you wanted to, could you add bones to the pot for a little extra flavor?
You could, but you know what? The bones, the stock will be made from veal or beef or even chicken, and that's sufficient flavor, I think, for this. Okay. Plus the meat itself, Yeah. So we're just gonna add some oil to our pot, and let's get started on the mushrooms, right? Let's,
okay.
Because it's gonna take a while to slice these mushrooms, so we're just gonna slice them up, thick, but not too thick, more on the thin side actually. Should have just started with that. And then our onions, and then our garlic. They don't put garlic in beef stroganoff, but we like garlic, so we're just gonna do it anyway. And it can't really hurt, can it? Just make sure your pan is hot. Let's just see. Yep, pretty hot. You want to hear that sound when you put it in. Don't worry about this fat here. This fat is good. We're using chuck meat, which is a stew meat. Now, a lot of people would use a sirloin kind of steak, and that way you don't actually have to cook it for that long. But we like the soft texture from the chuck meat. Just give it a little more seasoning. I'm gonna wash my hands. And I'm just cutting mushrooms.
There's a lot of mushrooms to chop, as you see.
Yes, I'm gonna help you in a second.
No.
What are you doing? Okay, so I think we have enough mushrooms. I helped them cut a little bit. And the meat is done browning. And you see here at the very bottom of the pan, there's a lot of fond. Fond is that Maillard reaction that we were referring to, the caramel.
Again.
Yes, the caramelization of the sugars, and that is where all the flavor in cooking is.
I'm just gonna give these mushrooms a little rinse. It's a little bit too earthy for my taste at this moment.
We're using baby bella and portobello. You don't want to use oyster mushrooms or shiitake or anything like that. You could, but these I think are earthier and lend more to the dish. So we took the meat out, and we have all this beautiful fond, like I said. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut some onions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're just going to cut some onions. You're gonna go julienne with these. Okay. Let me get this knife. So now we're just gonna put a little more oil. And we're going to toss in our onions. And just a little salt.
You already got the smoke going.
Yes. And we're gonna use a wooden spoon.
Because?
Just to scrape off that that beautiful fond at the bottom. Whew.
There's no crying in the kitchen.
I know, I'm sorry.
You ever watch A League of Their Own?
No.
Crying in baseball?
No, I haven't. Is that a good movie?
It's okay.
Okay. Just gonna increase the temperature a little bit.
Yeah, get a sizzle going.
Yeah. Just gonna clean up a little bit.
And we're gonna let that move around a little bit, and then next we're gonna add in our mushrooms.
Yeah. Okay, so we sweat the onions for a little bit, and now we're gonna add our mushrooms.
Mushrooms in.
Thank you. Now mushrooms have a lot of moisture in them, so we gotta make sure to cook out that moisture. Beautiful. Always a little bit of salt. Yes. Some black pepper.
Give it a little mixy.
Yeah. Okay, and we're just gonna let that cook for 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, so that's been cooking away. We still have a little bit of moisture from the mushrooms, which is what we want. We want some of that liquid there. And just gonna crush a little bit of garlic, put it in. Beautiful. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, just toss it in there. Now we're gonna put a little bit of flour. Now the flour is just gonna thicken the entire dish, and this is very important. You could reduce, but flour is gonna give you that thickness that you want. So we're just gonna put a little bit. So essentially we're making a roux here because there is fat in there. And a roux is just a combination of 50% flour to 50% fat. So that's what we're gonna do. Give it a little clap.
All right, LeBron James.
Just to get rid of the flour, that's what I do. Gonna mix that around a little bit. And then we are going to add our meat back, along with any juices that are still in there.
Beautiful.
Just gonna give it a quick mix.
It smells good already.
Yeah, it does. Okay. And finally, we're gonna add our stock.
What kind of stock do we have here?
This is chicken stock.
Chicken stock. Why are you going so slow?
Because I'm measuring.
Oh,
I'm gonna see if. Yeah, I think that's about enough. So we're just gonna bring this to a boil, and we're gonna cook it for about 2 hours, and then we're gonna finish it off with our tofu sour cream and mustard.
You're saying we got 2 hours?
Yes.
Beautiful. We're gonna take a nap and come right back.
Yes.
All right, so we have our stroganoff. It's about done. It's been cooking for about 2 hours now. You take a look, it's been reduced, not too much. You still want a good amount of liquid in there.
Yeah. I mean, this is a small amount, but it's just for 2 of us. And normally this would be served with some kind of pasta or some kind of rice or potatoes, whatever you want to do. So now we're just gonna finish it up with our little bit of mustard and the sour cream, and this is gonna, yeah, that's perfect. And then we're gonna, what this is gonna do is gonna give it that nice color that we want, and it's going to thicken it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting excited for this.
Yeah, and then finally, finish with our tofu sour cream.
Right, because we can't use dairy and meat together. These are the rules.
That's right. Okay, just gonna give that a mix.
Grab a beautiful dish that you have at home.
Yes, smells good. I'm just gonna cook it for another minute, just so that it incorporates the, the mustard and the sour cream.
I'm just gonna add a little bit more.
Yeah, so we're just gonna add a little bit more sour cream, just to give it a little bit more thickness.
Yeah, if you find that it's not thick enough, you can always just add a little more.
Yeah.
That's what I love about cooking, is that you can always make a mistake.
Yes, you can.
Because there's always a way to fix it.
Okay, so now it's at our desired thickness.
That is looking sexy.
Yeah. And now we're just going to plate it. Yes, thank you. Okay.
Good.
Now we're just gonna,
a little liquid just to top it off.
Yeah.
Traditional side dish is like bow tie noodles, but we like it just like this.
Yes, and we're just gonna finish it off with a little bit of parsley.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we're just gonna wipe that up a little bit.
Yes. Can't present something like that.
Definitely not. And just maybe top it off with a little black pepper. And there you have it. Beautiful beef stroganoff. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make beef stroganoff. Did you enjoy it?
I had a great time.
Me too. I'm Chef Elon.
And I'm Chef Tolan.
And this has been Keeping It Kosher.